Felt that. Thank you, thank you. And oh my, did I feel that. Better than Joni. I'm sorry. Better.
Different.
Better. Better. So we're talking about intuition today. The gift of intuition. We all have intuition. And I know you know we all have intuition. But how do we use it? How do we recognize it? Do we know that it comes in so many shapes and forms and avenues that I think, at least as I've been exploring this for this talk, I had no idea how much I use intuition, how we all use intuition. Ever run to the BART train and the doors are starting to close and you go, can I make it or not? It's not a conscious thing. It's like either you jump or you don't. And there's something that holds us or says go for it. And it's so simple and it's so subtle. Albert Einstein believed that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the traditional mind is a faithful servant. We have two minds. Actually, I don't even know about that. Who knows about the mind? But science has told us that we have a left and a right brain. And that the right brain is our intuitive, sensitive, creative, all of that side. And the other side is the logical, more the scientific and deductive mind. And if you've ever just tried to see a bird fly with one wing, it's pretty tough. We need both. And you've seen people that are very, very, shall we say, logical. And it's as if they're walking on one leg. They can make it, but they're hopping. We need our both legs. We need our logical mind and we need our intuitive mind. Very, very important. Carolyn Mace used to say, nothing worse than a stupid saint. And what she meant by that was somebody that opens their heart to the marketplace, that is, oh, it's all so wonderful, oh, mighty crystal, and all of that, and that's wonderful when it's appropriate. But we need our logical self also. We need that other leg that's discerning. So I'll start with this. I fell in love with the teachings of Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, and I became a disciple, went up to the ranch, and was part of that whole scene. And the intuitive part of me said, this is amazing. This is a Jesus incarnated. This is all of this. This is all of that. I'm going for it 100%. And I did. I jumped in 100%. And then the logical mind started picking away, going, are you sure? Are you sure? And I was dismissing that. That's part of the whole package too. To the point came, is this the right place for me? And there was a resounding no. So, the point of that story is to say that we can start out with strong intuition in a certain direction, only to discover it's time for a correction. And you can hear what I'm saying. It's time for a correction. In that moment, in that point in time, that was appropriate. But now, given what I see, what I've learned, what the direction of this organization is going in, it's not appropriate. It's time to leave. And if we don't leave when it's appropriate to leave, we get more clues. We get clues that kind of, we get the feeling tone that we're not in the right place, and it gets stronger and stronger. And I know you know what I'm talking about. It's a friend of mine, Harry, high-speed Harry. He's a real daredevil. He holds 5 world records in land speed, so he knows speed. He says, I'm going to go skydiving. So he goes up, signs up. The plane is not there. It's just something's wrong with the plane. Okay, comes back. A couple weeks later, it goes up, bad weather. No, they don't want to fly today. Next time he goes up, planes has a mechanical problem. This is the universe, the intuitive universe that is telling us, don't go up. And he caught it. He said, oh, I'm being told something. I'd better listen. So intuition comes to us through our environment, through, it could be a radio, it could be a song that's just sung. I got goosebumps when Amy was singing that. And so it's, how does it come? How does it come for you? Now, you're going to be listening to this talk. We're all independent researchers here trying to figure this out. I will say things and they will resonate for you. And you'll go, ooh, something in your body will go, yep, that feels, or that goes ka-chunk, that feels solid. And there's other things that go, nah, that's not for me. Your job is to distinguish between the two. That's why we have the two minds. So, what is this intuition? Intuition is something that comes not like a dog where you call it in like by will. You go, come on. It's more like a cat. You kind of wait for it to show up. And it does show up when you invite it. But if you go after the cat will run away. But if you say, oh, come on. Anytime you're ready, I've got the food over here, the cat will show up. So the part about intuition is that it's sort of beyond our will to will it. It comes in the silence. It comes when we're receptive, when we're open. And it does come in so many different ways. Now, I was on this dark road on my motorcycle, and some of you heard the story, and I saw two eyes over there, and instinct kicks in. I was alone, it's dark, it's late, and the instinct put on the brakes. It wasn't a thought, the brakes come on solid. That's an instinctual reaction. It's like when you spill a cup of milk and you grab for it, and either you catch it or you don't. Mm-hmm. There's these instincts. They're quick, boom, boom, boom. That's lizard brain stuff. It's good. Where it's a good design. What came later, right after the brakes came on, was the crash. T-boned that deer right in the tummy. And I'm flying now. And in that flight, I'm looking down and I'm seeing the motorcycle spin around, sparks flying in the night. And the voice came. And I know you may have heard a voice before. And the voice said, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And something within me just started to relax. And the tumbling finally stopped, and I'm laying there. And I'm not moving, and there's a part of me that feels okay with all of it. Just all of it. Knowing that whatever that voice was so strong and certain that I just let go. And guess what? An angel showed up. Within 45 minutes, I was got helicoptered out to John Muir Hospital, and everything's okay. So, the distinguishing between an instinct at the beginning to stop, and then that intuition, whatever that was that came, that voice, call it what you like. For me, I kind of like to call it my angels, and that they work overtime with me. But call it what you like. If something comes through us, within us, out of us. I don't know how it works. And frankly, we don't need to know. You don't need to know how your cell phone works. At least you need to know how to open it, but you don't know the mechanics of it, you don't need to know. So intuition shows up in other ways. It can show up as a voice. It can also show up as a feeling. You just get that feeling. I know you've met people where you go, it seems like when you meet people, there's three things. Either it's irrelevant or ooh. One of those three tends to pop up. That's our intuition talking. So I meet Susan, my wife, and she hates it when I describe it like this. It was like putting on an old shoe, comfortable shoe. She goes, you gotta stop saying that. But think about it. You know, when you want to be comfortable, you put on your comfortable shoes. And they're cozy and warm, and you can walk in them, and they're just great. I love those comfortable shoes. And so I meet Susan, and I get this feeling of, it's this comfort of relaxation. I can be who I am. There's no airs to put on. I don't have to razzle dazzle or impress. I can be myself, just be myself. And I know intuitively that will be reflected back. My okayness will be reflected back. And it was. 45 years. So it shows up as feeling. You get that feeling. It can also show up something in the tummy, like it's this gut feeling. And if you think about Ted Lasso, Ted Lasso says, always trust your gut, but on your way to your gut, check in with your heart. What great advice. I love that program. Check in with your heart. Check your gut. Check your whole body, because your body is a sense. We have all of these senses that are coming in all the time. Using our logical mind is one aspect, but there's so much more when we start tuning into it. So we can, as we become aware of it, as we become curious, boom, we start to recognize those feelings. We start to recognize the little voice that goes, don't jump, or yes, or this person's safe, or don't go down there. There's Jason in the ski mask that's going to be down that alley. Don't go down there. So we can hear things, we can sense things, and we can feel things. And the environment can provide us with clues. All of that is part of our intuitive package. There's another aspect of it. It's kind of like when we fight with the logical mind. And this is a story where we were in the process, my son and I, we'd buy a house and we'd flip it or build a new house. And this was a house that was burned down in the Berkeley Hills. Gorgeous, straight on 3 bridge view. And but it was burnt to a crisp. And we looked at it, and we looked at the view and went, wow, this is great. We should buy this. And there was this enthusiasm, and he's enthused, and I'm enthused, and we're feeding off of each other. And this is our logical mind. Because I hadn't checked in yet. And so I kind of got this feeling, it's not quite right. Do I really want to spend the next year working on this particular location? And that night I asked, is this right? And not expecting the answer. Really, I just was asking, and boom, no, nope. I went, wow. And as soon as I heard that, what happened is my whole body relaxed, which was confirmation of that. And so here we had the beginning, which was the enthusiasm of the logical mind. We can make money. This is a good thing. It's perfect timing. All of the things lined up. But it wasn't right. That was somebody else's job to do. It wasn't mine. It wasn't ours. So I'm sure that's happened to you also, where you've gotten that impulse, you've gotten that go for it, only to go, Sometimes that's the logical mind talking us out of it. Sometimes it's the other way around. The logical mind was talking us into it, and intuition stopped it. You see, it can work both ways. And this is where the discernment comes in. Which of those voices do we actually listen to? And how do we know the difference between them? Well, that takes practice. That takes failure. That takes, we're all works in progress. All works in progress. And without making mistakes, we will never learn. The good thing is, we always get second chances. Always. If we didn't get second chances, we'd all be alone. So, it boils back down to this gift of intuition. We can say it's from the angels, we can say it's from the beloved, we can say it's from the beyond, we can say it's within the inner processes of our mind that we say that we don't use when science looks that the brain has only used 10% of it, but there's a whole lot more going on. Just because we can't nail it down doesn't mean anything. We don't need to know. So kind of in conclusion, becoming silent and actually listening and inviting the intuition, not as a demand, but as an invitation, kind of like, give me a sign, simple questions, yes or no. Intuition works great with that, and usually it's immediate. Usually it's immediate. If you've ever lost your keys or your cell phone has been misplaced, you're looking all over in the house. Susan does this all the time. I can't find my cell phone. And what I'll do is I will just tune in and ask the simple question, is it in the house or somewhere else? And I'll immediately get an answer. And it's in the house. It's misplaced somewhere. And then we go looking for it and we find it. But this one time recently, I asked the question, in the house or not? It's not in the house. It was in her office. So as we experiment with just asking these questions, we start trusting our own intuition. We start seeing that we can tune into something, and we are tuned into it all the time. And we can call that our inner connection to spirit. We can call it our inner connection to our interior landscape. We can call it by so many names. And the key, and what I want to leave us with, is learning to trust it and learning to use it. It's there to help, not to demand us to do something, but it's there to invite us into a new and greater expression of ourself. And so for that, let's go in and let us pray. As we take this breath together, recognizing our interconnectedness with everything, not only the inner world, but the outer world, the beyond world, all of it showing up as this precious moment within the body that's experiencing this, the body that is sitting in your chair. And so I give great thanks for the gift of intuition that has been given pre-birth, that is always there and available to use. It's our guidance. It's that gentle reminder that we can do better, that we already have meaning and purpose by being alive, and that we are here to do wonderful things. Those wonderful things entail love, connection, community, and increasing the possibilities on this planet. All of this and the more is here available for us, and we're guided in that direction. For this and the more, I am grateful as we release this prayer by saying, and so it is. Amen.